Hello, 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 everyone. How are you guys doing? Welcome to our live Q&A on navigating intercultural relationships. Um, we are missing one panelist, but we're hoping that she will join in later on. Um, Still kind of want to get some time for people to join in. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Dominique. Okay, I am an American married to a Nigerian, and I am a part of It's Okay to Love. That's our brand. Um, and yeah, we share our journey on intercultural relationships, just to kind of set the tone and kind of change the narrative on what it means to be in an intercultural relationship. I'll go ahead and let our panelist introduce herself, Miss Brittany Caldwell.
What is up, you guys? My name is Brittany Caldwell. I'm like in the middle of setting up still, sorry. But my name is Brittany Caldwell. I'm from the States as well, and I am also in an intercultural relationship and was actually spending time on the continent before then as well. So yeah, here we are.
Okay, yeah, so and you're married to a Nigerian. What tribe is your husband from?
So my husband is actually Isakiri, which is a smaller tribe. I know like a lot of people know like Yoruba, Igbo, mainly when it comes to. So when you told me that your husband is also from Delta, I was like, oh, okay, now, okay, our smaller tribe. Yeah, he's from Delta,
Right.
and so he's Isakiri, which I never had heard of until I met him. To be honest.
Okay. Yeah, that was like me too. My husband is Urobo. So I never heard of that before meeting him. So um okay, so I guess let's go ahead and jump into the Q&A. How did you know that he was the one for you?
So I actually met my husband in the club in Kenya. So I don't know. People be like, "Girl, if you're trying to find a man, like, don't go to the club." I found my husband in the club, so stay outside. Like, if you got to stay outside, stay active. So I don't know.
Right.
Like, I felt when I met him, it was just like a peace that I was needing. Like, I was just in a point in my life. I just really didn't feel like a sense of direction or like calmness. I didn't have like an inner peace, like a stillness. I was
Mm,
lacking for a while. And like, I don't know, when I met him, my soul just felt like really at ease. And then, like, I was
wow.
actually raised by my grandma. And I swear to you not, I had a dream about him like 2 weeks
Mm,
after I met him. And my grandma told me, like, this is the person for you. Cause she passed away.
yeah.
So she like met me in my dream and told me that that was my husband. And I'm like a really big signs person. And like, I've dated, but I've never like experienced that or like had her talk to me about anybody that I've dated. So I was like,
Wow.
damn, like I think I'm gonna marry him. So I don't know.
Wow.
Um, we took
Yeah.
it from there. We took it from there. He left Kenya. I went back to the States and we were just like still at it essentially. And it ended up just like really working for both of us.
Yeah. Well, that's very important having that like peace and that stillness. Like for me, I didn't know until like later on. Me and my husband, we met on Instagram.
I
And
love
so, yeah, we dated for 6 months. And like, I think he knew before me. I know he knew before me because, like, 2 weeks into us courting, he kind of was just acting like he knew something that I didn't know. And apparently, his dad, who's a pastor, had a dream that, he was marrying an American woman, and he didn't tell him that we were dating at the time or that we were talking at the time. And so he was like, wow, dad, like, this is this is the girl you're talking about. I'm talking to her right now. And
That's
I think
crazy.
I kind of knew a little bit after because I prayed heavily on it. Me and my husband, we did a fast and we prayed together about it because I wanted to be sure because I wasn't trying to be
Yeah.
nobody's girlfriend. We was getting married. And
No,
that was it.
let's be serious. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
feel it. And like honestly, a lot of people were like kind of skeptical with me. Like we met, I don't want to like put the real numbers out, but we met pretty quickly. I came, met his family and friends a couple months later in Nigeria, and then we got engaged a couple months later. And then we got married a couple
Wow.
months later, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. A lot of people was like, are you sure he's not just like using you for a green card? Like, are you sure it's not this? Are you sure it's not
They love
this?
to do that.
Yeah, just like a lot of like skepticism. But
Yeah.
yeah, it can be things move when they're supposed to. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. One thing about them African men, they not gonna take 5 years, 10 years to try to wait to get married to you.
No, they're not. Do you know what I'm saying? And if they know they want you, they want you. And really that's just with men in general. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
when a
true.
man knows he wants to be with you, he wants to be with you. So I think it's easier to like judge situations from the outside, you
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
Um it was really at first like really hard to explain to my family.
Mhm.
That was like the biggest issue for me. I don't know about you, but like other family members, like people around me who love me or maybe have like seen me date like other people without going that quickly. Do you know what I'm saying? And then they're like, what
Yeah.
the hell? Hold on.
Yeah,
Just
like what's going
one
on?
second.
It's okay. Okay. So Stephanie here is saying, so that means she'll meet her husband in February. Girl, you might just meet your husband, okay?
Stephanie is coming to my wedding, and the plan is for her to meet her husband. Okay.
Girl, you might meet your
Yeah,
husband for real.
green
Like,
light issues, Lord, the ghetto. Hold on. Okay.
it's okay.
All right. All right. Is that okay?
Yes. Okay, so like speaking of like the skepticism, yeah. And just kind of dealing with that, people talking about green cards and things. What would you say would be like a red flag for someone that's dating a Nigerian or an African man, and they want to make sure
I'm
that
glad
he
you
don't
asked
just
me
want a
this.
green card?
I'm glad you asked me this because for me, it's just like basic common sense. So, like the same sense that you would use when you're dating a man who lives in your country, essentially, you just apply it to dating a man who does not live out of the country. So, a lot of people would be like, how do you make sure he's not like using you? How do you make sure it's not going to like become a bad situation for you? Well, before I decided to commit to him and we got into a relationship, you have to like, first of all, what is your standard? Do you want a man
Yeah.
who has a car in America? Well, then you should expect a man who has a car in a different country. Okay, check.
Yeah.
Do I want a man who has his own home in America? I'm going to keep the same standard off the continent. Check. Do I want a man who's asking me for money in America? No. I'm going to keep the same expectation. So it's just like about maintaining your expectation. So, I mean, if
Yeah.
you're somebody who in America, you're giving your man money, he's driving your car, and he's staying with you, then I don't know, that type of man in a different country might work for you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
me, that's never been my dating scene ever. So there's no way that I could let that happen to myself on another continent. So I would just say there's no like rules like, oh, how do I vet to see? Like, open your eyes, like really be truly honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Keep your standards across the board and don't make excuses like, oh, well, I don't accept like well, it's harder here. We'll work harder here.
Yeah.
Work harder here. My husband is not like a millionaire. He's comfortable. He's not a millionaire. We don't have a Rolls Royce, but I came here and he has a home for me. I don't.
Yeah.
He doesn't expect me to pay bills. He takes care of the bills. He
Yeah.
has his own car. He has his own business job. So I think
Yeah.
that the biggest thing is don't be so desperate that you're not like opening your eyes. Cause that's one thing that I see with a lot of women who have
Yeah.
gotten scammed in these group chats. These group chats will really scare you so much. If you're
I
like
just be like,
listening
wow.
in these group chats, do you watch them? Are you in these group
Oh,
chats? It's awful.
like I'm in these Facebook groups, and it's just like sometimes I see these ladies and they're talking about, oh, this person did this and this person did that, and I'm just like, well, that goes against common sense. I think I saw one about this lady. She was sending her one of her exes like $200-$300 a week. And I was like, okay, ma'am, that should have been red flag number one. Like, you have just
Hello.
become his paycheck. Like,
That's what I'm saying. So it's like if you were in the States and you had Tyrone from Memorial Drive asking you to send you $300 a week, would you go with that? No. Or
that's
you would.
crazy.
So it's so crazy. And a lot of these things, I do feel sad when I see stories about guys who did play it cool for a while and then like switched up on the lady once they got to
Yeah.
the United States,
Yeah, that's another thing
But I also
too.
want to I hope my husband doesn't get mad at me. I want to be honest and say that there's ways that you can protect yourself. So like my husband has never been like pressed for citizenship. Like, when are we putting in the visa? When are we doing this with the visa? Like,
Yeah.
we've been married for 9 months and like we barely talk about a visa. He doesn't
Yeah.
really have any interest in going to the United States. So I think you just need to watch, like, if they're super pressed, like
Yes.
super pressed. I understand there's situations where thankfully we're here. A lot of women can't make that move.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a different conversation. But
Yeah.
I think just watching, like, or even testing, like, I feel like a vetting question, if I was one of the women who couldn't come to Nigeria to say, or come to the
Mhm.
continent, I would even just like fuck with them and say,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna come anymore. I don't think I want you to come here anymore. Like, I would
Yeah.
rather just come to Nigeria.
Yeah.
What's the
I
vibe
think
like?
that's a good way too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is he gonna say?
Mhm.
Hmm,
Yeah.
how is he gonna act? Like things like that, almost just kind of test the waters, I think,
Yeah.
or get married and don't rush for them to come over there. Like, see what develop, like see how things kind of pan out.
Yeah. I always tell women who come to me and with this kind of question, it's always to me like if they're in a rush to like, rushing you about the visa process, rushing you to try to get married, rushing you to try to do anything, it's like,
Red flag.
nah, you might need to nip that in the bud. Like,
Red flag.
that's not sounding good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So a lot of these situations are just a lack of common sense. And men, like, I forgot, somebody like called me a passport sis on YouTube.
Oh.
Like the whole passport bro movement. And
Yeah.
they call me a passport sis. And I'm like, honestly, I mean, I'll take it. That's fine with me. Like, I'm
Yeah.
using common sense. I love my man. This is the best. Like, I'm living. Like, life is amazing, So I'll take that. But the same regard and like safeguards that a lot of men do put up when they're passport broing, you have to also do the same.
Right. Yeah.
as a
And
woman.
when you see these red flags, like you can't be ignoring them because I think that is another issue in itself too. It's like people will see the red flags and then they will go on to ignore them.
Yeah.
Like you see these things happening, but you like, oh, but I love him or he's this or that. Like you said earlier, making the excuses for them. Um, my mom is on here watching and she said, where should she go to meet her African husband?
Honestly, I get the question all the time. Like in DC, I would look at, first of all, African restaurants. Like if you're in the States and you want to meet an African, go to African restaurants, go to African places, go to African congregations, church-wise, like where they usually have communities. So, and these
They
communities have
do.
events, you know, so
They
you
do.
got to kind of dive deep in there. Go where you know they'll like kind of be, you know? Or online.
Um,
I mean, online can be sketchy. Online is hit or miss. I've heard some
it
stories, but
is,
like
you gotta be real smart about it. Stephanie said, I used to send my Kenyan friend money. He didn't ask, but when he started, I stopped.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, the crazy part is my husband, like people would be like, oh my God, like I hope you're not sending him money. He was sending me money. I was broke in the United States. He was sending me Naira to dollar. So it's just like not
Mm,
everybody has a sob story who is living in Africa and is like, oh my God, I need to send money. Like
yeah,
find
that's
somebody who you're
true.
yoked with. Even if you don't have a millionaire, say you're making $80,000 in America, if you can find somebody who makes that equivalent in Nigeria, that's okay. Like that's doing great, you know? So I'm not like everybody's not going to be a millionaire. Everybody's not going to be with a
Right,
millionaire, but find somebody who's doing okay as well where
right.
they are, you know? It can't be that hard.
Yeah, Precious is saying before I moved to Nigeria, it was the other way around. My husband sent me money. Yeah. If you got a man that can do that for you, honey, that's awesome. Let's see. Okay. So another question is, was there ever a point in your relationship where you felt out of place or like you didn't fit in with your significant other's culture because you were American? And if so, how did you navigate that?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I feel like my first experience was at our wedding. Because I'm not a dancer. So I'm not down with the moves or anything like that. But my husband, he really shocked me because I didn't know he could dance like that. Like my husband is
Mm.
very like tall and and I didn't know he could move like that. So I was just kind of like, when they do like the entrance dances and stuff like that, like I
That
kind
is
of
like my
felt out of
biggest
place.
nightmare right now. Thinking about my wedding, it's literally my biggest nightmare. Yeah, I know exactly what
I
you
feel
mean.
so out of place, but my husband, he helped me throughout that period because he knew that I didn't know how to dance. So he kind of kept up with me,
Offers that support that you needed almost.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like my biggest fear right now. I swear, as far as my wedding goes,
Yeah.
I'm not excited for that at all. Like at all.
Have you been practicing?
No, girl, I told my family, I was like,
I
because
actually had to practice moves.
I told Stephanie this though. I told Stephanie, we got this written. Yeah, I told Stephanie, like, girl, we all do not know how to dance. I don't know. I went to a wedding and I'm like watching the SLB people walking in and like dancing. And I was like, damn, like, we all don't really know how to do these dances, child. So I'm like, we need to start practicing. Yeah.
Even like it's like this move that they do with their hips and stuff. Oh my gosh, girl. I was just like, look, y'all, I can't do this. And they all were looking at me like, girl, what are you doing?
I plan on like taking a little shot and just going with the flow, child. I'm gonna just
Yeah,
it'll go.
you gotta
I'm being safe.
get your
Yeah.
Americanness.
Something will
Because
shake,
I was
you
like,
know?
yeah, I can twerk, but
You know
I
what I'm
don't know how
saying?
they're gonna
You can
feel
bring
about
something
it.
like I'll do my little 2-step and make it work, you know? That's the
So,
plan.
what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from being married from someone of a different culture?
I have had to truly this goes honestly. So let me answer from both ways. Me, the more
Mm-hmm.
time that I've spent on this continent, I'm like transitioning from like expat to feeling like a resident almost. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I've just
Yeah.
had to like shift my thinking and understand that this is not my country. And like um there's things that I take offense to that are not offensive for these people. Like there's things that they might say and do that are really perplexing to me, but it's the norm here. And this is where you're
Oh
choosing
my
to live. So
gosh.
you got to like get over that. So I've just had to like really grow so much patience. And like even just being married to my husband culturally, like um I've gotten really upset because people will call you fat like real quick.
Girl, that's even when as soon as you said that, that was literally what I thought about, like their usage of the
Yeah.
word fat. Like, oh my
They love the
God.
word fat. So like I'm talking like his family, his friends, like fat. Like, oh, you're looking fat. And I'm like, I almost wanted to say like fuck you. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
like a compliment. But that was one thing that really just made me like him having to like really, really explain to me it is not offensive. It's
Right.
cultural here. And then I'm just like, so what about other things that are like that too? Like at the end of the day, I'm here. They're not in America, even in Kenya, maybe you know what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
Nigeria. So that's not
Yeah.
offensive here. Swallow it and move on. Like
Yeah.
I've had to humble myself with the power, like the energy issues. And I like get so upset. I get so mad.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, this is where you are. So you've got to acclimate and move on, like to just make life easier for yourself. So I
Yeah.
think just like the answer to my question, to the question is just like developing patience and understanding, reading the room, accepting where you are, and just doing
Yeah.
your best to go with that flow because you will like
Yeah.
drive yourself insane
Mm-hmm.
comparing, expecting, wishing. It'll just like piss you off all around. So I think it's just really important to this is it now. Like, unless I'm gonna take this to legislation and protest in the streets, you know, there's no point in me being
Right.
miserable about it because it just is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. And I think for me, I think what I've learned the most is that, even though we have these smaller cultural differences, like really we're actually the same, in a lot of ways, in more ways than we are different. Um, like these cultural differences that we have, you know, if you don't put that much emphasis on them, it's like it's not really like a big deal, you know. Like me and my husband, we don't have many instances where it's like, oh, we're not understanding each other, or whatever the case may be. Like we're literally the same. Like even
Yeah.
with our travels around Africa, we've been to maybe like 9 or 10 countries, and we're currently in Rwanda, and it's like we're all the same people. Rwandans people are a little bit different, I'm not gonna lie, but
I feel like
but we're all the same people.
they're they're very much the same, but they're also very different because the people in Nigeria are very different than Kenyans. It has been a
Yeah,
very different experience for me.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
For
Yeah,
real.
East Africa, they're like more humble over here. Like they don't.
Like, that's a whole nother live session for me.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a whole
Okay,
nother.
so
I can say, I don't know, like when you said, oh, like we have, me and my husband have very similar personalities, but are
Mhm.
he is very traditional.
Yeah.
And his family
Yeah.
is very traditional. So I don't know, like since being with my husband, I have become, I don't like the word submissive because it's so controversial, but I have
Mhm.
just like in a way that I've never been, I hold my brakes a little more because I feel like even like the things that I say that he'll be like, "Oh, that's offensive." And I'm like really not being offensive. I'm just like a very
Yeah.
direct speaker, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like the
Yeah.
line of like respect, tradition, like hold my tongue. There's been some things that I have kind of had to shift with and change, and I appreciate it though.
Yeah.
Like I almost do appreciate it. I'm used to also being like any relationship I've been in, it's been like 50-50 as far as housework, like
Mhm.
doing things or like domestic responsibilities. So like for him culturally, that's just like not the vibe for him. Like
Yeah.
he's not interested. Why? Because he pays all the bills. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think that it's just
I
like,
do like that traditional sense of, Nigerian or African men, like they are traditional in the sense of like, okay, the man is the provider, the woman is, at home. But me, I am not a domestic girl like this.
yeah,
So,
girl, I'm not a
um,
slave.
I need some house help. Okay.
You
I
have
think we'll take one last question, and then because I know you kind of have to get going here. So, what's the best advice that you would give to someone who's willing to take things to another level, or who's looking to marry someone um, from another culture? So, I guess this is from more of a dating perspective.
I would say just be open, like especially as Black women, and like people argue with me about this on my YouTube all the time because they're like,
Mhm.
you bring Black men down, like you bring Black American men down. There's nothing wrong with Black American men. And there's not, but I just know so many good Black women who are struggling to find a man. So there are
Yeah.
really good in America. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would just say be open, be keep your expectations, be open. Like there's Black men everywhere because that's also a big thing. A lot of us just do not want to date outside our race, even like
Yeah.
American men. Like you just don't want to date outside your race. So you've got to open your eyes to other options, be open, be vulnerable, be honest, ask questions, like have
Yeah.
hard talks, and just take it day by day. Like I don't know, don't rush into anything. Trust your gut, trust your instinct.
Yeah.
Don't listen to everything people have to say because like even when I was choosing to marry my husband, it was like more negative and like, Brittany, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, are you going through things? You know what I'm saying? And like now I'm so happy we're in almost a year and now like people love him. Like, and they're like, dang, like you go, sis. So I think just trusting yourself and your instincts, traveling, get out, go.
That
Like, yeah, you've got to leave your state, the country, like Brazil, any African country. Like, there's Black men,
yes.
women everywhere. Like, you do not
Yes.
have to be stuck in that cycle. So, I would say just make yourself available physically and emotionally.
I definitely can agree with that. For me, I would have to give the advice of, like I said, just not rushing into anything. And um, me, really believe that God will bring the person that you want to be with or that you're looking for. So, for one, you have to know what kind of man you're looking for. That's number one. A lot of people are
Exactly.
looking for somebody and they don't know whether they want him to be tall, dark, and handsome, or she should be a good listener or whatever the case may be. So, knowing the type of man that you're looking for and then being prayerful about it. Like, girl, you gotta pray. You have to pray and make sure
You
that
have
that
to
man is the one
pray.
for you.
I like really encourage all women, all Black American women who are living on a fixed income as well. Like, just move, like, free
I
yourself,
agree.
even if it's not
I
for a man. Like, I'm not even saying like, oh, come find a man. Like, live a softer life, and it's just not
Yeah,
available in America for a lot of you. So if you're on like a disability
I
check,
agree.
if you're on Social Security, if you're on retirement, bring your ass over here, come to Africa, go to a different country, but give
Literally.
yourself a softer life, like where it's just more affordable. There's no reason that you have to stay in America, and then that could lead to you finding a man or come with your man,
Right.
whatever. That's
Changing
just like
your environment. Right.
yeah, like, and I really do encourage that. Like, life is better in other places. Working is not a priority. Like, enjoyment
Yes.
is on the table. You can have house help very affordably, things that take years off your life
Yeah.
with a man or without a
Literally.
man, you know? So
Literally.
that part is another piece of advice.
Okay, well, I love it, and I just really appreciate you
Can we
joining us
answer
in on
some of
this
these questions
live.
really quickly?
Okay. Okay, let's see. Are most of the men godly men?
I would say
I
religion is more important here.
Yeah, that's what I commented on here. Is religion is very important to them, but there's a difference between a religious man and a godly man.
Oh, amen.
So, yeah.
I like that.
And then let's see. Could you tell right away their feelings were genuine? I think I think this has to do with like just being prayerful about it because there are men or there's stories of men who will be genuine throughout the relationship, and then once they get over to the US, like it completely changes. And I mean, they could be in the relationship for like 2 years and then they get over and start switching up. So that also just kind of, you have to be aware of those red flags, them trying to rush into anything. If they talk too much about being in the US, like these are just red flags of people who are just like, nah, they might be just trying to get a green card.
I would also, if you're married, there's nothing wrong with asking. Like, say you're feeling uncomfortable. I'm about to get him a visa. At the end of the day, a visa is priceless. There's really even
Mhm.
people pay 70,000, 100,000. You're giving it to this person because you love them. There's nothing wrong with like put me on a deed over there. Like land is
Yeah,
land. You know what I'm saying? But before we're gonna
yeah,
do this,
I
put me
like
on a
that.
deed. Before we're gonna do this, I need X amount of money just sitting. It'll be for us, but I need it just sitting just in case. And if he's not comfortable with you needing that assurance and safeguard, then
Yeah,
that's a red flag in itself. Because if he plans on being with you forever, he shouldn't have a problem putting you on a deed.
girl,
If
I
his
like that.
family, do you know what I'm saying? If I'm a part of the family, because a visa
Yeah,
is priceless, and then he can give it to his mama, give it to his aunt. You know what I'm saying? Once he gets citizenship,
right.
all the doors are open. So if you're truly a part of the family, you just have to think about leverage. And if that's a
Yeah,
conversation they don't want to have, then they need to stay their ass home.
yeah. I really like that. Okay.
That's this has been
Well,
nice.
yeah,
So the big
I like
question
it.
is,
I like
are you
having these conversations.
the big question is, are you coming to my wedding?
Is this my official invite? Oh my gosh. I've never had what's this? SOB?
Come.
Hey, yes, girl, look, I gotta talk my husband into it.
Talk your husband into it. It's gonna be so I literally have like 40 people coming. Stephanie, who's in this chat, is coming. She's a part of my SOB.
Okay, yes.
Yes,
Okay, so
sis. Tell your husband
okay.
to come home. It's in Benin City. So Delta State is right, a hop, skip, and a jump.
Right. And he actually went to school in Benin, so
Exactly.
okay.
Honestly, you
Stephanie
need
said
to
this is
link
the
up because
event
they
of the
might even know each
century.
other. You need to send me a picture because they might have some mutual friends.
Oh, for real? Your husband went to?
He went to college in Benin City. That's why we're having most of his family is from there. Yeah. Most of his family, let me not say that. Most of his family is from Delta State, but he's like spent a majority of his like adolescence and like a young adulthood in Benin City.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Girl, they might know each other.
How old is your husband?
My husband is 32.
Girl, show us 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show him his picture and see.
Yeah, it's really about the Facebook. We got to see if they have mutual friends, because even if they don't know each other, it's the mutual friends that are like, oh,
okay. Right.
He's here in America. We also work together. That's really sweet. That's really sweet. I love that, sis.
Yeah, I have a question for this Aston, who says that she's dating African man in America. Was he already in America, or when y'all started dating, or what? I wonder if they can see this question. Cause yeah, that's cool too. But I feel like African men who are in America are a bit different. Okay, she said yes, he was already here. African men who have already been in America. Yeah.
It depends on how long they've been there, you know?
Yeah.
Because technically, my son's dad is Sierra Leonean, and he came over when he was 6. I've told him, like, you're ruined. Like, you're not really African at this point. He's not. Like, it just depends on how long if you become Americanized, you know? The same way we can come over here and become Africanized, you know?
True. I am a Nigerian woman. Okay, listen. I'm completely Nigerian at this point.
Exactly.
I can only talk like this.
Exactly. The same way. They go over there, forget things. They become American. We come over here, forget things. I'm African. Like, there's nobody who can tell me I'm American at this point. I'm feeling
I'm telling you, I'm Nigerian. I speak pidgin like this. So.
Please. So it's the same concept. There are many very, very American Africans in America.
Definitely. I've met a few because I used to live in Dallas, so they are definitely out there in Texas. There's a lot of Africans in Texas.
I just reposted this meme, and it was like Africans to avoid throughout the United States. And it was like Ghanaian Virginians, Atlanta Nigerians, Houston Nigerians, Eritrean, Minnesotians. I was like, damn, this is extensive, but I feel the vibe. It's all fun and games. It's all fun and games. I do want to come see you in Rwanda, though. So hopefully I get an invite.
Yeah, girl. If we still here, you know, we are like a nomadic family, so we'll stay in one place for a few months and then we'll move on to the next place. So right now, Rwanda is, you know, it's nice, but me, I'm tired. I'm tired of this Rwanda.
When are you gonna go to Kenya?
I don't know, because I'm looking at this East African visa. I want to go to Uganda and Kenya. So
skip Uganda and go to Kenya.
Have you been to Uganda?
Yeah, I was in Kampala for like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. How was that?
It was cool. Kampala is really calm. It's just very calm. I'm sure it's very similar to Rwanda, which is why I'm saying kind of like have a new vibe.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Rwanda is too calm for me. Like, I'm used to Lagos vibe, like the hustle and bustle, you know? So Rwanda is just a bit too slow for me.
Uganda is the same.
Oh, wow.
So go to Tanzania or go to Kenya.
Now that's where I want to go. I want to go to Tanzania. I want to go to Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar. I even want to go to Arusha and see like the landscape and everything.
Really beautiful. Yeah. Go to Tanzania. It's cheaper in Tanzania than Kenya. The dollar goes further, or any money goes further in Tanzania.
Okay. Okay, well, great tip. And we like to travel by road, so hopefully
Yeah,
we can.
Tiffany is really. Well, I
Yeah.
love this. I was so excited. Last thing, I was excited to find out you were from Colombia, girl. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, that is
yeah, we
so.
found this out. Those people, because a lot of my family is on here too, from Colombia, and y'all, Brittany is from Colombia. Okay,
No,
like,
like really from Colombia. Like, yeah.
yes, that's just so
Um,
crazy.
yeah, I was born at Richland Memorial. Everything. My whole family. I'm literally going there for Thanksgiving. My granddaddy lives there, my aunts, my cousins. So I'm excited.
Wow.
I go to Colombia every
See,
single year.
and it's so crazy because I didn't know anybody who was, in Colombia doing stuff like this, moving around Africa,
No.
marrying people. Like it's not marrying people, but
You know you
marrying
know the
somebody
Colombia.
else.
You know the
Yeah,
Columbia
because
type.
people
You
are in
know them.
Colombia.
So when I say my family is like, girl, what the hell? Like you already know the conversation. Like you know what type of people I'm dealing with. So
Yes.
I'm like begging them to even come here. They're like, am I gonna get kidnapped? I'm like, first of all, the metro area of Colombia is very dangerous right now. So please do not talk to me about a danger. Okay. I need to be asking if
Yeah.
I'm gonna get hurt visiting Colombia.
Okay. I'm
Honestly.
telling you, they be doing too much sometimes, but
Too much.
they trying to get better. They was on the list of top places to move or something like that.
Yeah.
And
In Greenville. Greenville, South
oh,
Carolina. Everybody
okay.
like to Greenville. Yeah, I do a little research, girl. I'm thinking about trying to buy a house there. I don't know. We'll see.
In Colombia,
Yeah, I just want a somewhere to land. I just want something at home, even if it's
yeah,
small,
I feel that.
you know,
I
like
feel
just
that.
something. And just a small little 3-bedroom or something. I was thinking about it. It just seems like the
I feel
best
that.
place, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody who joined in. This was so awesome. Y'all love having these kind of conversations. So, yeah, be sure to give this live a thumbs up if you want to see more live Q&As like this.
Yeah.
Y'all, let's thank Miss Brittany Caldwell here for joining us
Thank you for
all the way
having
from
me.
Nigeria.
We try, sis. We try. We try to make it move.
Yes, yes.
Thank
Um,
you.
so yeah, girl, thank you so much for having this conversation with us.
Thank you for having me. And make sure you like and subscribe if you're not following me, you guys. I don't really post that much anymore, but
Yes.
just come for the vibes.
Yes, definitely head over to her YouTube channel, like literally right after this, like right now. Like we're ending
Mhm.
already. You guys can go now.
All right, babe. Well, thank
Alrighty.
you guys.